Okay, students, we have completed module one. Okay, last time, and we have done a kind of a revision also for module one. Today I'll be starting with the new module. In this module two, in this we are going to study something related to commercial banking. What are the functions, what they do, and one new concept called as universal banking. And in this module, there are few. What do you say? Few things are there which you already know, like ATM, what is an ATM, how it is used, and what is credit card, what is debit card, and then what is any NEFT process and RTGS process. You might not be knowing. You have that as well. Then what is a check? And then what are the what do you say? What are the ways in which check can be used? What are the ways in which check is converted into an image form and it is kept? So all those and things will be there. The basic banking day-to-day activities related to that, and about commercial banking functions. Okay, commercial banking is simple. The normal banking activities which you are aware of. That all those banks come under commercial banks. Okay, all the public sector, SBI Bank and Kotak and ICICI, Federal, all those banks come under commercial banks. So all the commercial banking activities which are there, that has been added in this module. So after completion of this module, we'll be completing the banking part, major banking part, the commercial banking part, and well, after this, third module onwards, it's totally the financial services. Okay, not the banking one. Okay, so yeah, okay, 30 I have joined. So I'll. Okay, so okay, there is something new on Google Meet. Why is that time it opens? Okay, this we are in unit 2. Am I audible? Can I start the meeting? Sorry, I didn't ask you. Am I audible?
Yes, so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, started. Okay, chalo. Okay. So about unit 2, we are going to study all this commercial banking related to commercial banking. What are the services, banking technology, and all those things. Then one new concept called as universal banking. Universal banking, what it is. Not today, but maybe in the next lecture. Then you have all this ATMs, internet banking, mobile banking, ये सब है. Then electronic payment system है, there, which includes your this Paytm, phone pay, Google Pay. Then MICR is there, related to check. Then electronic fund transfer is there, and electronic clearing system is there. Okay, this clearing system, and then finally NEFT and RTGS. Okay, what is the process? This is quite important from the exam point of view. NEFT and RTGS process, how it happens, and what are the stages in that. Okay, so let us begin. 34 are there. Okay, firstly, structure of commercial banks. Okay, commercial banks in this. Okay, the structure of commercial bank looks something like this. Okay, they are divided. The commercial banks are divided into scheduled commercial banks and non-scheduled commercial banks. Okay, just for the theory purpose. Scheduled commercial banks, why they are called as scheduled? Because in the Banking Regulation Act of 1949, there was a Banking Regulation Act was passed. So in that act, whichever banks come under the second schedule in that act, first schedule, second schedule, third schedule, schedules are there in that act. So whichever banks come under the second schedule, those banks are called as scheduled commercial banks. and which bank doesn't come under that, they are called as non-scheduled commercial banks. Okay, so this can be no, non-scheduled commercial banks are very few. They also include some of the cooperative banks, but majority of the banking system of India consists of scheduled commercial banks. So whichever banks, public sector, private sector banks are there, foreign banks are there, all are scheduled commercial banks. So once the bank is in bank is called as a scheduled commercial bank, they have to comply with all the regulations of the RBI. Whatever RBI says, whatever RBI instructs them, they have to follow that. Okay, all these private sector, public sector, and foreign banks. If you see, cooperative banks are not mentioned here, but they come under private sector also, and they come also under non-scheduled. Some of them come under here, some of them come under here. Okay, we'll not bother about it. We are going to just study what are the basic functions of these banks. Okay, so private sector banks, after 1991, the banks which have been opened up, this ICICI was the first bank in 1991 or two. It got its operation started. So from that, all the private sector banks come under this. Okay, Kotak Mahindra and all these private banks come under this. Public sector banks, which are being governed by the which come under the government. Okay, then foreign banks are there. Okay, foreign banks which have their head office not in India but in some other foreign countries. Okay, for example, Citibank, CITI. Okay, Citibank, the main head office is in London, is in England. Okay, CITI. Citibank is there. This, you must have seen the logo of this. So the headquarters is in United States. Okay, and you also have HSBC Bank, Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation. Okay, so this is in it's in London. It's a Chinese bank, but the headquarters, it's in Hong Kong headquarters. So this kind of a bank, they have operations in India as well. Okay, but these banks, they have operations in India as well, foreign banks, but they have headquarters in some of the other countries. So private sector banks are there, public sector and foreign banks. And public sector is divided into SBI and its subsidiaries and other nationalized bank. Okay, SBI, State Bank of India, State Bank of Travancore, State Bank of Mysore, State Bank of Patiala. All this come under SBI and its subsidiaries. And other nationalized bank like Corporation Bank or Indian Overseas Bank. Okay, those banks come under the other nationalized bank. They don't come under the SBI. Indian Overseas Bank is a public sector bank, but it doesn't come under SBI. It comes under other nationalized bank. Okay, so this is somewhat the structure of commercial bank is there. Okay, the function of commercial banks. Actually, we have discussed this. I'll just go through it. The primary functions of any bank, of any commercial bank, is accepting deposits and giving loans. Secondary functions, okay, they help in investments of funds. Like nowadays, the banks help you in investing in mutual fund, investing in capital markets. SBI Bank is there and SBI Securities is there. ICICI Bank is there and ICICI Securities is there. Okay, Kotak Bank, Kotak Securities. So there are two different entities. Okay, but it is very much linked. If you have a bank account in Kotak, then if you open up a securities account in Kotak Securities, you will open a demat and trading account, and you can enter into capital market using that. So that also is being held by the banks. Yeah, so for investing of funds, you can enter into capital market by buying mutual funds or entering into equity or derivatives market. And also other investment options, also these commercial banks help you. And other agency functions, it provides, and miscellaneous functions are there as secondary functions like locker facilities. So we are going to discuss this. Okay, in accepting deposits, there are two types of deposits. Okay, last model I have told you. There are time deposits and demand deposits. Okay, time deposits, they are for certain period of time. Okay, your money will be deposited with bank, and after that time gets elapsed, after that time gets completed, then you can withdraw the amount or you will get the amount. Okay, so for that particular time period, your amount has been deposited. you have 50,000 rupees, and you are putting 50,000 rupees as time deposits, one of the time deposits. Then after that time gets elapsed, okay, time gets completed after maybe 5 years or 3 years or 15 years, you can get back the deposits with the interest which you have got from keeping those deposits. So there are three types in this: fixed deposits, recurring deposits, and cash certificate. Okay, fixed deposits, just a time deposit wherein you'll be keeping a lump sum money. You have maybe 50 lakhs of rupees. Okay, you don't want to invest, you don't want to keep it anywhere. You're investing that 5 lakh rupees in fixed deposits. So maybe for a period of 5 years, you cannot touch, and you will not touch those fixed deposits. Okay, that 5 lakh is being deposited in the bank, and you cannot withdraw it also. If you want to withdraw in any kind of emergency, then there will be some penalty, and some money will be deducted from that, and it will be given by you. So generally, FD, it is being, generally you will hear this term. Okay, fixed deposit, FD thoda ya FD rakha hai karke. So fixed deposits is being termed like that. Okay, and next is recurring deposits. Recurring deposits, when you don't have that much money, you don't have 5 lakh of rupees now, but you are a salaried person, you are getting money regularly every month. So every month you could take out aside maybe 20,000 rupees aside after your all the expenses. So 20,000 you are keeping aside. So every month you will be putting those as a recurring deposits. Those 20,000 will not be used by you. Every month you are getting 20,000. January your salary has been credited. 20,000 is being saved and it is put into recurring deposits. Again in February, 20,000 is being put into recurring deposits. Again in March, 20,000. April, 20,000. So every month you will be putting 20,000 in the recurring deposits. You cannot withdraw from that. Okay, but it is just a mixture of fixed deposits. Okay, kind of a fixed deposit. In fixed deposit, what is there? You are putting a lump sum amount, maybe a 5 or a 10 lakh rupees into fixed deposit, and you're not going to touch it for 5 years. In recurring deposits, it is like you don't have any lump sum amount. Ek saath paisa nahi hai. You are getting a stream of cash flows for every month. So you are getting those cash flows and putting it into recurring deposits. You are not going to use it, unlike savings deposits. Okay, so recurring deposits also have a time period, maybe of 18 months or 1.5 years, 2 years, like that. It has a time period. So after that time period gets completed, then you can withdraw your amount. Okay, so from January 2016 you have started. Then in maybe in August 2017, you can withdraw the amount directly, recurring deposits. In recurring deposits. Okay, so this was about fixed deposits and recurring. Cash certificates, they are just for a longer period of time. Okay, it is not very much used nowadays, but it was used maybe 20 or 30 years back. Cash certificate is also for a longer period of time, and it's whatever the money is been money is invested, it gives more interest. That used to be said at that time. So it is like a cash certificate. My grandfather had invested on my name, cash certificate. So after 18 years of my age, when I was born, he has invested. So after 18 years, I received the amount. But as per the inflation rate and the economy, that amount was not that much. So cash certificate is nowadays not what do you say? Okay, cash certificates are not very much used nowadays. Okay, so they are kept as a kind of education for few. When a child is born, they will invest in the cash certificate, and when he reaches maybe age of marriage or higher education, then at that time they will withdraw it. So it's a kind of very long term kind of investment. Okay, not investment or deposit. Okay, so this is the time deposits. Demand deposits, current deposits, savings deposits. Okay, chalo, I'll go through one by one. Current deposits is when you have a business, you have a lot of cash streams coming in and going out, then you open a current deposits. There is no restrictions on that. You can withdraw any time in a week, you might be having hundreds of transactions. Okay, then you need to open up a current deposits. Current deposit. You cannot open a saving deposit and do hundreds of transactions in a week. That is not allowed in that. Savings deposit, there are very few transactions. Okay, and in current deposits, there are very high transactions, and the transactions are in a huge amount. And so current deposits, generally you don't get interest, but you will get 0 to 1% interest is there in current deposits. In savings deposits, again, a salaried person is just saving the deposits, and where he can withdraw it anytime. Why they are called as demand deposits? Because on demand it is available to the customers. Okay, whenever customer wants, okay, I want to buy a mobile phone, so I need money from bank. So if there are money in my savings deposits, I can easily withdraw and buy a cell phone. But if I have put my money into this time deposits, fixed deposit, recurring, or cash certificate, I cannot just withdraw money for buying a cell phone. Okay, they are for saving for maybe a longer period of time. Okay, in current deposits, a bank, just remember, current deposits is generally opened by a business firm. Savings deposits is generally opened by a person who is earning a salary. Okay. Then next is giving loans and advances. Okay, the next primary function of banks, giving loans and advances, or creation of credit also it is called, credit creation. Okay, in this, first is cash credit. Okay, cash credit is when it has been, now this cash credit, loans and advances, overdraft, and discounting of bills. It is in the terms of, mainly in the terms of businesses I'm talking about, and loans only in the terms of general car loan, home loan, all those things. Okay, so first is cash credit. Cash credit is generally for working capital requirement of a business firm. Okay, don't ask me what is working capital. Working capital is day-to-day activities, whatever money a business requires in a period of 1 year. So that has been provided using cash credit. And how this credit has been provided, how this, it is also kind of a loan. So how this loan is provided, some goods or any personal security will be kept as a collateral. Now collateral is, you are keeping something with the bank, saying that if I don't pay my loan back, then you can take away that property, or take away those goods, or it is yours. Okay, so for example, you are keeping the goods which you have received with the bank, saying that I need some money and I'll pay back that money and take away the goods. So not physically transfer of goods is there, but on paper the goods is transferred to the bank or has been kept as a collateral. Okay, so when the person cannot pay it, okay, the goods can be confiscated by the bank. Okay, so yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Okay, sorry. So next is loans and advances. Again, nothing much to explain this. The loans and advances are being given by the bank. Different kinds of loans are there. Advances are generally given to the business entities. Loans are given for the commercial use. Okay, for home loans and car loans, those loans are given. Advances are the extra money which has been given to the businesses if they are in need of money for a certain period of time. For example, a business has taken a cash credit for its 1 month, for its 1 year requirement. It has taken maybe 10 lakhs of cash credit for entire year. Okay, a small business is there. 10 lakh cash credit he has taken. Now, after that, when he's spending the 10 lakh rupees on electricity, on its wages, on wages of the workers who are working in the company, and for paying of other transportation charges or anything like that. So day-to-day activities, he's spending that 10 lakhs. So maybe after 10 months, he has completed, he has, what do you say? He has spent all the 10 lakh rupees, and for 2 lakh rupees, so for 2 months, he is facing a shortage. So during that shortage, that bank can give advance to him. Okay, advance working capital or something, or any advance money to them, money to that business person for those 2 months. Okay, so it is also a kind of a loan, but he don't need to go for the process of loan because he just need money for those 2 months. So it is a kind of advance which is being given by the bank. Okay, similar thing happens in overdraft. Okay, in overdraft, when there is a requirement, then and in, also in advances, there is not much collateral is required because bank is already related to that business firm, so they don't need mainly collateral for these advances if they are very for 2 months or for 1 month, or if it is in a smaller amount. So generally collateral is not asked for the advances. And then overdraft is for additional, what do you say? Again, the working capital is being short, is facing a shortfall, and the business is in need of money. Then they can withdraw from their current account more than what they have. Suppose they have 20 lakh of rupees, okay, and the business is in need of 22 lakh of rupees, or maybe 20 lakh 50,000. Okay, so they can withdraw 20 lakh 50,000, and that 50,000 will be treated as overdraft by the bank. So for this 50,000, the bank will charge very high interest rates for the overdraft. Okay, so they are having 20 lakh of rupees in their account, but they are withdrawing 20 lakh 50,000. So on that 50,000, their interest will be charged by the bank, and which will be very high. Okay, but this facility is there. Then finally, discounting of bills. Okay, after this, I'll wait for your questions. Okay, discounting of bills is quite, okay, I need to use this. Discounting of bills is, okay, there is, okay, this is the, okay, this is Bombay port, okay, ships will be coming here. This is my ship. Okay, and maybe, okay, maybe this country is maybe UAE. No, the port. Okay, Jaber Ali port. Okay, so what is happening here? Okay, there is a shipper. There is a shipper here, or what do you call him? A supplier. Okay, he's supplying goods to a person who is sitting in Mumbai. Okay, he is the consignee. He is the customer. Okay. So there is a shipper sitting here. There is a seller sitting here. There is a buyer sitting here. Okay, this buyer, okay, he has ordered something from UAE, and he has promised to pay him. Okay. Okay, before I start, there is a seller here, there is a buyer here, and this customer is ordering something from UAE. And once this vessel reaches and the goods reaches to him, then he will pay that amount. Okay. So suppose I am the shipper. Okay, I am sitting in UAE and sending the goods to the person who is sitting in Mumbai. So once before I send the ship, I'll send him the what do you say? The bills. Okay, the bill will be sent to him, and once he agrees, okay, I'll pay this much amount, and once the negotiation is done and finally the trade happens, then he will ship the goods from here, and maybe a 2 or 3 days it reaches here. It gets from the ship, it reaches to the customer. Finally the container reaches to the customer. The customer opens it and he's happy, but he will not pay him immediately. He requires 1 month credit period. Okay, so this payment will be done after 1 month. So he needs to wait for 1 month for that payment to be done, but he is in need of money. He wants money within 3 or 4 days. So what he can do, he has this bill of payment. He has, which has been promised by this person. Okay. So when he has this bill, he can take this bill, go to a bank, can take this bill, go to a bank and ask bank for payment of cash immediately. And after 1 month on this bill, this customer will pay to you. Okay, so this bank will also contact a bank here somewhere in Mumbai, and this person will deposit, will be related to that bank, and then he will deposit that money into that bank, and that bank will transfer this money to the bank using this certificate. Okay, so there are 4 entities involved here. This is the supplier, one is bank, one is the customer, and another bank here. Okay, so this bill, okay, so he is having this bill, he is giving it to the bank, and bank is giving him immediate money, and then after 1 month, bank will get money from him, and bank will charge some what is it? Some fees for that. Okay, so I have not explained it properly, but I'll come to it later on again. Okay, so this is what discounting of bills. So before moving it again on this, do you have any doubt in this functions in accepting deposits of time deposits, demand deposits, or giving of loans up till overdraft? Okay, discounting of bills, I'll explain it once again. Yeah, any doubts related to the deposits and loans? Okay.
No, sir.
Have you guys understood what is discounting of bills?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. According to me, I have not. Okay, so I'll just go through it once again because I'm not satisfied. Okay, discounting of bills is there are 4 entities involved in this. I'll do it properly this time. I'll take it only 2. Okay, I'll not go overseas. I'll inside itself. Okay, there is a person who is a shipper, who is a supplier. There is a customer, and the other person is the bank. Okay, shipper is sending goods to the customer, and customer has promised to pay him back the money. But shipper is in now immediate need of money. Customer has promised to pay him after 1 month. So this shipper taking this bill will go to a bank and ask bank for immediate payment of money. Okay, so this is maybe a 5 lakh of rupees. He has been promised to pay. Okay, but that is not coming here. So he has taken this 5 lakh of bill and he has approached this bank, and bank will immediately give him maybe 4.9 lakh of rupees, and 10,000 they will charge as a fee. So 4.9 lakh immediately this seller will get, and he can use it for whatever purpose he has borrowed this money, took this money, and then 10,000 is the benefit for the bank, and bank will wait for 1 month. And after 1 month, this bank will produce the certificate to this customer, and this customer will pay. Suppose there is a default in this case. What will happen? Suppose this customer doesn't pay after 1 month. He tells bank in or 1 month lagega, ya fir he'll not pay. Then the goods which has been supplied, okay, that goods can be confiscated, or the supplier need to pay if the customer is not able to pay. Okay, or the customer is not is in good terms, or something bad happens, then supplier is the responsible person in this case. Okay, and generally it has been taken care by the and the customer's bank is also generally same, or if it is different, then 2 banks gets involved in this. This is customer's bank, and this bank gives a kind of a guarantee to this bank that this customer will pay. Okay, some collateral will be there, or that goods which is being supplied by the supplier will be treated as a collateral, or any kind of arrangement will be there. So this bill is being discounted from 5 lakh, it has been reduced to 4.9 lakhs. So this is what the discounting of bills is. Okay, so I'll move on to next. Secondary functions. Okay, so they are very quite simple. Okay, secondary functions, mein investments are there. The government, this the banks help in the investments of funds. Sorry. Banks helps in investment of the funds like government securities may, or in mutual funds may, if you are investing, or if you are investing in any shares or any in any boards. Okay, so investment of funds, in this case bank helps you. Then agency functions, bank help you. Agency function can uh, involve any this discounting of bill is also kind of an agency function. So if the bank the lock what do you say uh, if there are bills of exchange or discounting of bills is there, if payment of insurance premium is there, or selling and buying of shares, which I have told you, they will open a demat and trading account using their securities branch. Okay, so Kotak Bank will help its customers by opening up a Kotak Securities account, a demat and trading account, and they can trade in shares. So this kind of functions are called as agency functions. Then miscellaneous functions are the additional functions which the bank provides. Like initially, they used to help in paying off the electricity bills. And nowadays, you get bank lockers wherein you can keep your valuable assets or legal documents. Okay, and any foreign trade, if you want, if you are going to some foreign country and you want to exchange money, you want money of that foreign country, then that exchange, the currency exchange, is also being done by this public or public sector banks or commercial banks. So this is what falls under miscellaneous functions. Okay, so the details of all these things will be available in the notes. Okay, so this is what secondary functions are there. Okay, so this is not secondary functions are there. Okay, so this is what okay, finally I come to role of commercial banks. Okay, again, straightforward and creative answer can be written in video for this. Okay, mobilizing, just remember the points. So whatever we have learned about commercial bank, what are its uses, whatever is being helped by them to the businesses, to the customers, everything has been mentioned here. To the government as well, it has been mentioned here. Okay, they mobilize the savings. Mobilize the savings is each and every person, when they open a bank account, they will be putting their money as savings deposit or as current deposit or fixed deposits or any kind of deposits. So they will be putting their money. So it is mobilizing, it is collecting all the savings of the people in the rural area, in the urban area, and they are putting it and in the bank, and eventually the RBI gets it, and eventually the economy gets it. So if that money has been lying in the home, then there is no use of that those money. If that money has been kept in the bank, bank can use that money, and upon that you will get a rate of interest. Okay, then next is financing industry. This bank helps the financing industry. If there is a certain big project is being approved by a company, and they are building maybe a factory on that. So they don't have immediate money, so they can borrow money from the bank, and the savings which the people have been keeping in the bank, they can use those savings and give loans to those companies. So the economy will grow as the company will open up, a new factory will come up, people will get employment, and so economy grows in that way. So financing the industry, different industries, the automobile, agriculture, the industries will flourish using help of this bank. And also financing of trade, they help in this all bills of exchange, they help in giving loans, they help in overdraft facilities, and so they help small and medium scale businesses as well. Okay, then next is financing agriculture. Okay, it is about agricultural loan, and they help in all this. What do you say? A dairy industry, dairy farming, animal husbandry, or all the activities of agriculture and related. They help in giving loans and stuff to these financing of agriculture. Then financing of consumer activities. Okay, consumerization is a term which has been used in the growing economy. Uh, Companies which are producing the refrigerators, the washing machine, the televisions. So the bank help in providing small EMIs to the customers, and they give a fancy rates so that customers can buy these TVs or laptops and the consumer activities, the consumer durables which are there. So when they are buying it, the companies are growing, the profit is being generating, and it is growing the economy. So it helps in consumer activities as well. So consumer activities are generally for the buying of the cars and the refrigerators, washing machines, and stuff. Okay, and the next is about financing employment generating activities. Okay, they help in this financing of employment generating activities. They help for the education loan. Okay, so the person gets education using that loan, and then he can earn and pay back the loan. So they help in this studying in the engineering colleges and any other courses, or they help the other entrepreneurs also. Okay, young entrepreneurs who have some ideas. Okay, so these banks also help them to open up a business in the initial stages. Then last is to help in monetary policy. Again, this commercial bank, mainly RBI helps in monetary policy. Okay, but this commercial bank can also help the government, the state governments, in the giving suggestions related to monetary policies, and even in the giving suggestions related to fiscal policies also. So this is what you can write it on your own as well. These are not the 7 perfect points. Okay, you can add anything if you want. Okay, and this is just a kind of a rough thing, but this 7 points covers most of the things in this socio-economic development. Okay, so I have planned that's what for today. Okay, Tashikkullah, thank you. Achha, tell me any doubts in structure of commercial bank functions, primary and secondary functions. Achha, one more thing I wanted to add you, time and demand deposits. Generally, you will hear the term DTL. DTL. Okay, in some interviews of some bank CEOs or something, you will hear this term. Also, you will hear this term. I have seen some interviews of maybe Chanda Kochar or any person who is the CEO or the head of the bank. Okay, so these two terms you will be hearing. Okay, DTL and CASA. Okay, DTL stands for demand and time liabilities. Okay, demand and time liabilities. As I have told you, liabilities, all the deposits which are there, all the deposits for the bank are the liabilities. Okay, they are not the assets. So they are using liabilities in order to create the assets. And what are the assets? The loans are the assets for the bank. So they are collecting liabilities. They are using the liabilities in order to create the assets. So why demand and time liabilities? Because of this. Demand deposits and time deposits. Demand and time liabilities. Okay, so whenever you hear a term DTL, it stands for demand and time liabilities. That means how much money has been deposited in the bank. It can be a demand deposits, savings or current deposits. It can be time deposits, fixed or recurring or cash certificates, and liabilities kind of deposits. So DTL, whenever you hear a term, connect this. This is a kind of every deposits. Okay, and another term you will hear this CASA. Okay, CASA comes only here. Current account, savings account. This is just a short form they have made. Current account and savings account. Okay, nothing much fancy here. Just whatever the accounts has been opened up in the bank for the regular activities. Okay, they are CASA comes under this demand and time liabilities. Where they come? Generally in demand liabilities. So the depending upon the current account and savings account, the bank's financial strength increases. So whenever you hear in an interview the CASA deposits of this bank has been increased, then what do you mean by CASA? The current account and savings account deposits have been increased. So that is a good for the bank. To get time deposits it's a kind of a 50% work done. Okay, when you get a time deposit, when a bank gets a fixed deposit for a period of 5 years, the bank after 5 years has to give back money to them. Okay, so the bank is having 5 years of time in order to generate that much interest rate plus some additional so that they can make profit. So if a person has kept 5 lakh of rupees, okay, for a period of 5 years, and suppose, just to simplify, the bank suppose needs to give him 6 lakh of rupees. So there is 5 years of time with the bank in order to convert this 5 lakhs to more than 6 lakhs. Okay, they need some profit also. So to do this, okay, they needs to the bank need to invest something or do something or give loans properly. So all those things the bank needs to be done. It needs to be done by the bank. Okay, in CASA deposits, the demand liabilities, it doesn't need like that. Okay, so there will be deposits will be kept in the bank and normal day-to-day activities will be there. In time, they have to do something, even in recurring and cash certificates also. Okay, so this was away from the syllabus bit. ठीक है, चलो. Any doubts? Ask me. Okay, shall I close? It is yes for closing, I guess. Okay, students, I'll close this. Okay, before closing, see, you can see 20 slides are there. Okay, so I'll be completing I'll require maybe 2 more lectures for this, or maybe 3 more, maximum 3 more lectures, and it will be done because uh, not that difficult. Only universal banking is a new term which you have heard. REST ATMs and rest, this are very common for you. Okay, and the process of NEFT and RTGS will be different. Okay, so that's it then. Thank you for listening.